What's up, everybody? Thomas Majors here again, here to spread a little bit more truth. And this is part 2 of my Federal Reserve, the takeover. I kind of broke into the middle. I never got to the real story of how it became in doubt. Now, since our country's inception, and I have to be really quick about this, folks, because the time limit on here is fucking ridiculous, and it takes forever to upload something. So anyways, I used to be able to do a 45-minute video and upload it in 4 minutes. Now it's a five-minute video, and it takes 6 hours. Anyways, Federal Reserve. From our country's inception, we have been trying to stop a central bank. The Revolutionary War was, they had so much debt that they collapsed. And that's what they put. They put the amendment in the Constitution saying only gold and silver shall be there to pay debt. They did that for a reason, because they said, Thomas Jefferson said, if the people ever allow a central bank to rule their monetary policy, the power that will grow up around them, will become so powerful, it'll be stronger than standing armies, and let the currency go from inflation to deflation, that we will be living out on the streets that our forefathers helped to conquer. Something to that effect. Quote. But it makes sense. In 1909 or 1912, sometime in 1912, the main bankers, the main names you still know today, J.P. Morgan, the Rockefellers. He wasn't even a banker, but obviously he has all the money. A few other ones now went to this place called Jekyll Island, and it was a secret meeting, kind of like the Bilderberg meeting. Nobody could get in or out. Nobody could, So they concocted up this scheme to now that all the founding fathers were pretty much dissipated or gone, or they just didn't give a shit no more. Let's try this move again, because this new world order has been an effect, and it connects, folks. The Federal Reserve and the new world order and the military and industrial complex, it all connects into a plan. Globalism is with it. Globalization, I should say. So they went to the island. They waited till December 23rd of 1913 at 12 o'clock, when everybody was gone home. All the senators, congressmen, they only needed 6 back then to sign. So they, in fact, without telling the American people or even getting the approval, they passed the bill, and thus the Federal Reserve took place. A lot of folks didn't even realize, not until 1933, until the stock market crashed, these fuckers admitted they created a depression to transfer wealth so they get richer. And not only did they do that, they confiscated gold. And there should have been a revolution back then, and our fucking our ancestors failed us there. They was either scared or just didn't give a fuck like now. They told everybody, you either get 10 years in jail or prison or turn in your gold. They didn't want it for free. They was going to pay you for it. Back then, an ounce of gold went for $20.16 American dollars. $20.16. An ounce of gold. That's how powerful the dollar bill was. Well, the very next day after they collected everybody's gold and silver, they raised the price of gold $33 and some change overnight, which meant it was still a gold-backed currency. They lost 40% of their purchasing power overnight, which immediately made everybody in the country poor. 40% poor immediately. Every recession, every time that happens, it makes the purchasing power of the dollar, because the wealth transfers to the fucking richest, the banks. And if you don't know about the Federal Reserve fractional reserve banking program Ponzi scheme bullshit, well, you will now. And first of all, it is you put $1,000 in a bank. That $1,000, they only are required to keep 10% of your money. They loan out the other 90. So let's say that becomes $900 loan to the next person. They do that over and over and over 10 times. That creates money, fake money. So those of you that think your money's safe in the bank, if fucking the banks crash, they're only required to give you 10% of your money because that's the law. And they get away with it, and they have been, and they will be able to. That's why them folks that lost all their 401ks and shit, they only got like 10% of it because that's all they get. That's all they was literally responsible for, because you sign a paper that you don't read like fucking idiots, stating that this is what they do. It's fractional reserve banking. It's exactly what the Ponzi scheme is of Federal Reserve. Well, how does that tie into the New World Order? And I've only got a couple minutes left. This may turn into a 5-part series because I could talk for 10 hours about it. But anyway, what it is you gain, Evelyn de Rothschild said it best. I care not who is the leader if I run the monetary system of the country. Get it? Because you can buy them out, So think about that for a minute. Now, the Federal Reserve has power. They made, since they owed the debt, they transferred the wealth to the rich, to the fucking banker owners, and said, look, what are you going to put on this debt you owe? That a debt and a creation that they created. And the government said, well, we'll put the American people. We'll fucking tax them. Social Security. That's where Social Security comes into play, but it ain't where the entitlements come into play. That's a later story. Now, you're going to have to understand that the Federal Reserve has tricked the entire world with the IMF and the World Bank into believing that their money's worth something, and it don't matter what happens to the American dollar. But they know now. They didn't know for years. They didn't know. They didn't think the American dollar would ever go anywhere. So they had to go with status quo. Well, in 5 years, you have a president that deliberately spent $10 trillion. That's a call for arms right there. Letting go terrorists, the borders wide open. People, it ain't good. No, you're just not seeing it. If a dummy like me can see it, I'm not that intelligent. I'm not that bright, but I pay fucking attention. Something nobody else does these days. Oh, I'm not racist either. So I'm going to agree from this hat. Not racist. Fuck you. You've been programmed, propagandized, and brainwashed. It's just a fucking hat. Okay, guys, I'm out. This video is already 3 minutes longer than it was supposed to be. We'll be back with hopefully the final and last chapter of how the Federal Reserve is taking over the world, and the New World Order is going to come and kill us all and leave us all cashless, and the Chinese will fucking have us enslaved. And if you think that's a joke, go ahead and laugh, because it's coming. Wake the fuck up.